I just returned home from a tremendous tennis match at the Indian Wells Open between Novak Djokovic and Jack Draper. It was one of those matches where the score almost becomes secondary because what you're witnessing is something deeper, an exploration of human potential under pressure. Both athletes were fatigued. You could see it clearly. The rallies were long, the pace was relentless, and the physical toll was obvious. But what fascinated me most wasn't what happened during the points, although I gotta tell you, they were really cool. It was what happened between the points. Because if you really watch elite performers clearly, the moments between effort often reveal more about their mental toughness than the effort itself. And Novak was extraordinary in these moments. You could see him intentionally recovering, talking to his body, slowing everything down. He would inhale through his nose, slowly as he could exhale through his mouth. Then he would pause, walk slowly to the baseline, pacing, resetting. Now, of course, we can't hear what he was saying internally, but when you've been studying sports psychology long enough, you recognize the pattern. That is the discipline of staying present. That's what I could recognize. The discipline of coming back to one point at a time. And sometimes in tennis, it's even 1 second at a time, because sometimes the seconds between points are all you have. And what was amazing to watch was that the reset was working. At first, Novak's face was bright red. His shoulders were dropping. He literally dropped his head and bent over numerous times. At one point, he looked like he might be completely spent. But then slowly, point by point, between points, something started changing. His breath steadied. His posture improved. His energy returned. And he suddenly was back looking energetic, even celebrating great points again. And what I also loved was his sportsmanship. He applauded great rallies from both sides. When Draper produced something spectacular, Novak acknowledged it because great competitors understand something very important. When the level rises, everyone benefits. Now, the context of this match made the moment even bigger. For Novak, this could have been a record-breaking sixth title here. For Draper, the stakes were enormous as well. First, he's the reigning champion of this event. And second, a loss could have meant a significant drop in his ranking. So both athletes were competing for really big moments. And yet, what I witnessed, and I think what everyone witnessed, was something incredibly inspiring. Two athletes pushing each other to their limits. Two athletes refusing to quit. And two athletes demonstrating what true competitive excellence looks like. And while we're on that topic, and if you and I have not met, let me introduce myself briefly. I'm Dr. Haley Perlis. I'm a sports psychology and performance coach working with athletes, leaders, and high performers through my competitive excellence program. What we do in this program is train the exact mental skills that allow someone to perform under pressure, the same skills we see on display in a match like this. Because mental toughness isn't something you either have or you don't. It's something you train. It's something you develop with practice. And this match gave us several powerful lessons. Let me walk you through a few of them. Lesson 1. Recovery can happen in the moment. One of the biggest myths about recovery is that it takes a long time. People think recovery means hours, days, weeks, months. It can when you don't do it on the regular, but elite performers know something different. Recovery can happen in seconds if you use the right tools. Breath control, body language, pacing your movements, and doing it all intentional. These are not random behaviors. They are strategies, proven strategies, and Novak was very clearly regulating his nervous system, breathing through the nose, lengthening the exhale, slowly as possible so that he could slow down everything. He even slowed down his physical movements. These behaviors tell you something important. We're okay. Stay composed. And once the nervous system settles, energy starts returning. Clarity returns. Focus returns. Performance returns. There is something every athlete and honestly every human being can learn. Pressure doesn't destroy performance. Unmanaged pressure can. But if you learn how to regulate yourself in the moment, you can stop a downward spiral. That's what I personally witnessed Novak doing. It was pretty impressive. Lesson 2. 1 point at a time is more than a phrase. You hear athletes say this all the time, 1 point at a time, but most people misunderstand what that really means. It doesn't just mean focusing on the next point. It means refusing to live in the future, because the future is where unnecessary pressure grows. If Novak had been thinking about this could be my sixth title, or what if I lose, or if Draper did the same thing, that pressure would have multiplied instantly. Instead, Novak was able to narrow the lens. 1 point, one breath, one moment. That mental discipline is incredibly powerful because when the brain focuses on the present task, anxiety drops and execution improves. Great competitors train themselves to shrink time, not the whole match, not the whole tournament, just this moment, and then the next one, and then the next. Lesson 3. Winning is loyal to no one. There was a moment in this match where Novak was literally down on his knees, exhausted, completely spent. But here's the reality of competition. Draper could not let up. He couldn't feel sorry for Novak. He couldn't ease off the gas because winning is not loyal to anyone. It doesn't care about reputation. It doesn't care about history. It doesn't care about how many titles you've won before. Winning goes to whoever continues to compete. And Draper understood that. And so he pressed on. He kept fighting, kept swinging, kept believing. And that's what makes sport so compelling. Respect between competitors doesn't remove intensity. If anything, it elevates it because both athletes understand they must bring their best. And in this match, they certainly did. Lesson 4. Sometimes the beauty is in the competition itself. Something else stuck with me while watching. At one point, I overheard people in the stands talking about the match, and what they were saying wasn't at all about winning and who they wanted to win. They were simply appreciating the match itself, the rallies, the effort, these courageous performances from both athletes. Fans were applauding both of them, and that's a beautiful thing to see. Because when competition reaches that level, people recognize the deeper story. They are witnessing human beings pushing each other's limits, pushing their own limits, and that's inspiring, regardless of the final score. Lesson 5. These athletes are not outliers. They are examples. Sometimes people watch elite athletes and think, well, of course they can do that. They're different. But I see it differently. They are not outliers. They are role models. Draper is about 14 years younger than Novak. He can learn from Novak's experience, but Novak can also learn from Draper's youth, his energy. They're all learning from each other, and that's how excellence works. The best performers are constantly learning from each other, constantly adapting, constantly evolving, constantly exploring, not in an envious way, in a taking it all in. And the truth is, the same principle can apply for you and me. Whether you're an athlete, a leader, a performer, or simply someone trying to raise your own level. If these amazing athletes can train these skills, so can we. We can learn to recover faster. We can learn to focus on the present. We can learn to regulate our emotions under pressure. And we can learn to compete with both intensity and respect. Because mental toughness is not about never getting tired. It's not about never struggling. It's about knowing how to reset when you do, how to breathe, how to recover, how to stay engaged when things get difficult, and how to keep competing one moment at a time. That's the real lesson from matches like this. Not just great tennis, but a powerful reminder of what human beings are capable when they refuse to quit.